Most people who join cults have an emptiness, there's a complex, a sense of insecurity. That's why you need people to stand around you, to fight for you and all that. No, you don't need it. So if you are violent, you are not a man that has positive masculinity, you have negative masculinity. I say you cannot. I say why? I say because I'm Dr. Apoki. I'm your friend Dr. Charles Apoki. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I want to talk about, the last video I did was on positive masculinity. I want to talk about negative masculinity. And I want you to pay attention and don't just comment rashly. Reason before you comment. Number one, men are androids. They have muscles, they have power, testosterone. But let the muscles and the power not be for violence. It should be men of valor that defend positive values. So violence, just for the sake of violence. You see, when positive masculinity, when you defend values, you don't need to join a cult to be able to unleash violence on somebody. You see, most people who join cults have an emptiness, there's a complex, a sense of insecurity. That's why you need people to stand around you, to fight for you and all that. No, you don't need it. So if you are violent, you are not a man that has positive masculinity. You have negative masculinity. I saw the bodyguard of Kiss Daniels. Somebody was walking into an arena, a public place. He just used his hand and pushed the person away. The man has a right to go there like any citizen. You don't just push him. The next time I saw him, he carried somebody up and threw him. You are displaying negative masculinity. There are people stronger than you, more powerful than you, that use their physique to defend people, to defend the vulnerable, to protect the weak. That is positive masculinity. When you see the very dark black man, he is huge, but he is not a brawler, he is not a fighter. He fights injustice. So that's positive masculinity. I mean, negative masculinity if you are violent. Now, I was discussing with my son, Dr. Ofoman, and he said that because of the testosterone that males have, and because when a man releases his seeds, 250 million seeds are released for a very fertile man. That means that a man is designed to be polygamous. And I told him no. I said that the seeds of a man come outside him, while the seed of a woman remain inside her tubes. So the seed of a man are more vulnerable to destruction. They live for only about 24 hours, while that of the female can live for 48 hours. So, and because the distance the seed of a man will travel, the sperm cell will travel from the cervix to the fallopian tube, if you do it by mathematical extrapolation, it's like a man swimming from Lagos to New York across the Atlantic. And it's a hazardous journey. So God allows him to produce many so that the chances, because you need a minimum of 40 million sperm cells, normal sperm cells, for you to impregnate a woman. I told him that if God wanted Adam to be polygamous, he could have created more women for him. So polygamy in the time of our ancestors was our intrinsic human nature looking for survival. That is to say, the diseases that were prevalent like diphtheria, tuberculosis, and all that, were such that children died, and because positive masculinity is for the projection of the genes of the male species. So for the probability of survival to be high, the man needed to marry many wives. And then labor was physical, and there were no machineries. There was no mechanized agriculture, so they needed more hands. And because women didn't have inheritance rights, apart from the daughters of Zelophehad, these women were married. They needed a place where they can have succor and security. So that a man has testosterone and he is sexually active does not mean you should be going from woman to woman. In fact, I told him that when you concentrate these energies, the sexuality on a woman, you are able to create value for her, and she's able to have a sense of fulfillment. So that's why I don't do adultery. He knows. I've married his mother for 38 years. He knows I don't do adultery, and I won't encourage him to key into that philosophy that a man was born to be polygamous. So a man was born to be sexually active for him to be able to procreate and project his genes. But God's design was for a man and his wife. That's why he created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. So, however, positive masculinity is not how many times you are able to sleep with a woman. The emphasis today, 2-minute man, 3-minute man, 5-minute man, and the reverse is feminism that only shows bombs. No. Feminism should show brains, not only bombs and breasts. Somebody will say Africa is blessed when it just shows the bombs of women. That is a low form of thought process. It is the brains. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, it is her brains that we celebrate. When I finished giving the lecture, women were forming lines to take pictures with me. You were there. They were forming lines to take pictures with me, snap with me, wanted personal. So many women. That's positive masculinity because I showed value. Now, negative masculinity is not how rugged you look like. I saw one Nollywood star. He was in a petrol station in Asaba. He was wretched, insane, because he was on drugs. When you see him in films in those days, he used to act as the bad guy. Positive masculinity is not by being rough. It's not by dressing dirty. It's not by the jeans you wear. No, jeans are good, but it is not by how tough. You're a macho man. No. Positive masculinity is a gentle person. When you are rough or unpresentable, you talk anyhow, you are aggressive, you are violent, as I've said, that is negative masculinity. So when you are the one that has a spirit of vengeance as a man, when they rent you as a thug, when you use your wealth to marry small girls that are supposed to be your daughter's age mates, and you select them from different nations, that is negative masculinity. What will your children do? That's the problem. So try as much as possible to cultivate and nurture positive masculinity and avoid negative masculinity. It's not the number of bottles of beer that you drink, neither the amount of Indian hemp you smoke that makes you a man. It's not the cult you join that makes you a man. What makes you a man is responsibility. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Charles Apoki, and send a message to +234 70 52136763 to join the WhatsApp mentorship group and make inquiries concerning properties we have for sale. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you.